Democrats in Congress are blasting President Trump after he said that he would be open to selling cutting-edge F-35 fighter jets to Saudi Arabia.
It comes as Saudi Arabia Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is expected to meet with Trump today in Washington, his first trip to the U.S. in 7 years. Here's what the president told or had to say about the potential sale yesterday.
Are you planning to sell F-35s to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
And also, are you looking at doing a similar security agreement like you did with Qatar?
Yeah, no, I am planning on doing that, yeah.
You're going to
They
sell
want to buy,
F-35?
they've been a great ally. They've got to like us very much. Look at the Iran situation, what we did in terms of obliterating, we obliterated their nuclear capability. Yeah, I will say that we will be doing that. We'll be selling F-35s. Yeah.
The Saudis have long been one of the biggest purchasers of American weapons, but according to the New York Times, a recent report from the Pentagon raised concerns over the sale of specific weapons like the F-35. The Defense Intelligence Agency suggested in that report that China may be able to access F-35 technology if we sold it to the Saudis, citing the security partnership between those two countries. Now, Pentagon officials have also raised concerns that the sale could compromise Israel's regional qualitative military edge, as right now they are the only country in the Middle East to have F-35s in their arsenal.
The potential deal sparked backlash online from President Trump's critics, with many suggesting that it may be a personal favor from the president. Democratic Senator Ed Markey wrote on X, quote, "Trump says he will sell our most advanced fighter jets to the Saudis, who U.S. intelligence says killed journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. Looks like Saudi Arabia's billion-dollar business deals with the Trump family are paying off. This is outrageous." And Ron Flipkowski echoing that in his own post, writing, quote, "This comes hours, weeks, and months after multiple deals were announced between the Saudi Global Wealth Fund and Trump Organization worth several $billions. The Saudis are one of the Trump family's biggest business partners."
Well, what do you think, Lindsay? I don't actually have a problem with this, and I think you probably do.
Well, I think that there's obvious red flags, right? So if China has a strong relationship with the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and they're the largest trading partner, like even more than the U.S., we have a strong relationship with Saudi Arabia. They are a larger trading partner, so they are more of an ally, you could say. And officials who deal in this more often than our president are saying or recommending that this is not the best way. Even past officials that go on TV like, oh, this is not a good way. Trump tried this in 2020. Biden canceled it when he became president. And so this is like a back and forth.
Because everything went so well in terms of the Middle East policy during the Biden.
I'm just telling you, he tried to sell them jets in 2020 and Biden paused that deal. And so when you think about it, there is some conflict of interest there. So, the Trump organization is in, and Trump says it's his sons, it's not him, but they're in talks to bring a Trump branded property to one of Saudi Arabia's largest government owned real estate developments right now as we speak. So that would be blurring the line. Well, the chief executive in Saudi, of the Saudi company, is leading the entire transition, and that's actually happening.
Places are developing, wanting to become more friendly to the West, wanting to do business deals with the president, both in his personal capacity and just with the U.S. in general. You were just in Qatar, seeing the results of a more fruitful relationship between them and us. I think
people
this is good. I think if Israel is mad about it because now we don't have unquestioned air superiority, I'm like, well, you should do what we want then. You should be a better ally to us in terms of what your government is doing in Gaza. So I don't think that should be some kind of check on what we're allowed to do. Furthermore, I want to have a better relationship with Saudi Arabia. I don't want to be stuck in some kind of war on terror mindset. And if we're getting something from this, then I don't really have a problem with it.
Well, just
now, maybe we're not getting anything. Maybe we shouldn't be listening to them, or we shouldn't be trusting them. They're still working against us. I'm open to those arguments. But the idea of us, and we already sell them weapons.
Well, this is an early conversation.
We're selling them. They're buying the weapons.
But just to be clear, this is an open conversation about how the U.S. will work alongside Saudi Arabia. Not that they don't have a relationship at all. They're not agreeing to anything in regards to whatever would be exchanged for these F-35 jets until the U.S. explicitly agrees that there should be a two-state solution, Palestinian state recognized. Right. And I don't know that the
maybe
U.S.
they should agree to take
accepting
some of
to
the
do
Palestinians.
that. Well, that is a very valid thing to say, but I also think that they're saying if you recognize two states, and so for the U.S. to take that firm stance, which hasn't been done historically, would be something where a lot of people who support Israel will raise an eyebrow because they don't want that outcome. But the rest of the world, including the UN, is saying that might be the only or the best way forward.
Right.
And so I think the president, as much as he has possible business dealings and relationships with Saudi Arabia, and possibly innocently wants to open up this dialogue between two countries, he still needs to figure out what he's saying. No, the president never said. No, the president never said he wants a two-state solution.
Well, we can't have one of the states be controlled by Hamas, which would be the case. So that's why there can't be a two-state solution.
Israel doesn't want a two-state solution, and that's our ally. So how do you respond to that? That's what I mean.
Well, we should tell them tough luck.
But we have not told Israel tough luck this entire time.
Well, I don't know that Israel's government has said many different things, and maybe we shouldn't believe them. They're open. They say they're open to Palestinian. I mean, they gave Palestine self-determination. They pulled out of overseeing Gaza, and then what happened is immediately a terrorist group took control of it, and no one wants Hamas governing the area. I don't think Israel wants to govern the area itself. Now, Israel's government is far too willing to let everyone in Gaza die and then take it over, but they don't want to actually govern the Palestinians. They want the Palestinians gone or dead. Again, they being Benjamin Netanyahu, not Israel or the Israeli people. Many of them want to live in peace with their neighbors, and it would be ideal if they just had a sane government running them, but they have a terrorist group.
Well, I think that's what we have to address, the elephant in the room, because a lot of people feel that our American policies are much different than Middle Eastern policies. The reason why the Saudi leader hasn't been here in 7 years is very obvious because of alleged human rights violations. And so that's why he hasn't visited the United States until right now. And so coupling all that when we're trying to tell people exactly how to lead from this honorable way and it's like who should be in leadership, I feel like that's an odd place for the president to stand as somebody who has almost blindly supported Netanyahu besides here and there, but then also has been looked at past administrations that have been critical of Middle Eastern policy.
They've all
and then
got
also is trying to
human
respond.
rights violations. They're all.
But I'm letting you know where he stands. So anything that he does, people should be critical of. And if he closes an eye or bats a blind eye to what's going on in the Middle East because he has business deals, and that's something to consider as well. Because that would be almost like a violation of what
we don't have the luxury
of
only doing business with people who have no human rights violations, because there aren't any of them, right? It would just be us and Switzerland hanging out, being buds, or New Zealand, which are great countries, but there are a lot of human rights violations of all these regimes, from Israel itself, Saudi Arabia, all these people. So we can't. We can't take the neocon isolationist view that all morally flawed governments need to be overthrown immediately, because we would just be, we don't have the firepower to do. We don't want to do interventions.
And I think naturally our job is to question the timing and the relationship and the why of it. If it's genuinely because you feel like he wants to do a better job than Biden with bringing profitable relationships to the U.S., fine. But if you look at it and say, oh, you're building a Trump Tower right over there in Saudi Arabia, backed by the government. Same time, you're giving them access to fighter jets that China could possibly get their hands on and understand our technology way more than we would be comfortable with them doing. Both of those are fair reviews of what the administration is doing. I don't think you should dismiss one just because you feel that the president has good intentions. It's not about feeling. It's about what history will tell us about all of his international relationships.
Well, up next, Bill Ackman getting roasted for his pickup line advice for young men. We'll be right back after this.